Bertemu kembali dan kita masih lagi memberikan tumpuan kepada aspek perniagaan, kali ini dengan pembukaan sepadan dan juga adaptasi teknologi yang semakin luas. Apakah sebenarnya cabaran seterusnya untuk perniagaan di Malaysia? Ini kerana pemulihan tidak memakan masa singkat namun membina daya tahan menjadi kepentingan utama pada masa kini. Dan bagi mengulas lanjut, kita bersama dengan Naib Presiden Kanan dan Pengurus Besar Asia Pasifik dan Jepun bagi Rocket Software, iaitu Praveen Kumar. Good morning, Praveen. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. First of all, how has the businesses changed since the pandemic erupted with regards to their digital transformation journey, especially in Malaysia, maybe?
I think overall, all businesses have really adapted well, and those who have currently survived, you would notice that they are evolving at a faster pace than what they had. If you look at especially the banking and the IT industry, or maybe the pharma industry, you would see that they have had phenomenal growth in the past 2 years, because initially when the pandemic came in, everybody thought that the markets are going to go down, everybody's going to be suffering, etc. But certain industries surely benefited. And subsequently, when we started noticing the second wave going down, the manufacturing industry started booming. The automotive industry started booming in. And now as we get into the third wave, we see revenge travel happening. People who have not been managing to travel or spend vacations or go to beaches, they have really started flooding back into the hotels. So as much as the travel and the hospitality industry had issues over the 2 years since January or March 2020, we've seen them really boost up their profitability over the next few quarters. You would see that most hotels, most airlines are really going full because people just want to travel because of not having been able to do it for 2 years. So yes, businesses have adapted. Some could change the way they do the business, like e-commerce became a big thing. So people would go and only shop at retail outlets earlier. Now a lot of shopping happens online. People who never wanted to use the mobile phone for banking have been forced to use it. And that has helped technology adoption at a faster pace.
Praveen, what is the key to successful digital innovation projects? Because you have helped companies across numerous industries with IT modernization and also optimization. Maybe you can share with us more about this.
Yep. So Rocket has been a technology provider for modernization and digital innovation for quite a number of years. And what we've noticed across industries, the biggest challenge that people have had is in the way they spend money in digital innovation. More than 30% of the funds that people invest in digital innovation actually go bust, because they go do a trial and error, this doesn't work, then they go and rebuild the application again, and then they go rebuild it again, and keep upgrading their legacy infrastructure while they're trying to modernize their environment. One of the areas that we've noticed is if you plan your innovation a lot more exhaustively, that is end to end, and if you have the right tool sets which analyze what workflows are currently being used, what processes are currently regularly used, which you can automate, which you can modernize, which you can bring to the front a lot earlier, then those digital innovation projects become successful quicker with a lot less wastage. Because wastage of money is never seen until post facto. Because right now, if you're doing an innovation, you think that's the right thing to do. 12 months later, you say, hey, I shouldn't have done it this way. I should have done it another way. So it's hindsight that helps you understand where you went wrong. And that's where we come in and we say, you don't have to waste that money. We help you plan your modernization and your innovation a lot better by giving you the tools and the solutions that you can deploy across your platforms, analyze it better, and move forward. So technology providers like us help customers plan those innovations better. So if you can have innovations within the timelines that you have set up as a benchmark and have the lowest amount of wastage of funds and resources, then I would say that most of these digital innovations can be successful. But a lot of them do it in a hurry. Like COVID brought in a lot of innovation projects to the forefront. So people rushed, they had to do things, And you can go to as basic things as schools. Schools had to deliver online education, which is something they always detested. And they used to tell students shouldn't be sitting in front of a digital device the full day, and they had to conduct 6 to 8 hours of the entire schooling and college right on front of a digital device, and they didn't have the infrastructure for that. They had never planned to have so many students coming in at one time and offering it. Companies like you who were doing digital broadcasting, for you, we had to be in the studio in an environment where everybody, including the person, the host, as well as the guest, had to be in the studio. And the last time I'd come there, I was in the studio. But the pandemic had to change. You were sitting at home, you were able to deliver the news to people, which was very, very important, sitting at home. And as much as you wanted to do it, the ability for you to create that infrastructure and deliver that without having any impact on your business demonstrates how successful you were. And that is a true result of how any company can go back and say, hey, did I innovate properly, which can be sustained for a longer term.
Yeah. And also with the recent reopening of Malaysia's borders, the race is on basically in Southeast Asia to entice international travelers and also boost economic revival. How can businesses accelerate the transition from resilience to resurgent stages?
Yeah, so two of the most important actions is around uncertainty. As much as the opening of the borders have happened now and people are more than happy to move around, one of the biggest things that companies have started noticing is, since people have worked from home, very few want to come back to office. You would notice a lot of press with large companies where people are saying that if you're calling me to office, I don't want to come. And as much as you want to retain talent, you want to keep it in a hybrid mode before you bring it to a full-time, get to office mode. And as much as travel and tourism is going to get boosted because people are going to travel either within the country or from outside, as soon as borders opened, you can see the influx of number of people who are going to come in, and that is going to boost the economy, which in turns will boost retail, which in turns will boost credit, which in turns will boost other forms of business as people come in and start spending. But most companies who are the merchants, the retail outlets, or albeit the banks or the IT companies that are there, would always have this challenge of people have got used to a particular pattern of working. We've got to transform that. If you had to spend 2 hours on travel coming into KL from somewhere else, the 2 years just transformed that, because you didn't have to spend two hours of travel. You could sit at home and still do the business, and the business was still working. So employees have started questioning, why should I come? And the ability to bring them back and socialize and bring them to the real world would be the real challenge, because demand's going to go up. And as demand goes up, you have to be having the capability to cater to the demand very easily. And people would adapt. I think businesses would adapt. And that has been the major challenge that most people have encountered so far, which they are trying to fix.
Also, Praveen, we have about 2 minutes left. What are some of the technology trends that you foresee and then we can expect, at least for this year?
Yeah, we've noticed most institutions are looking at modernization really rapidly. The pandemic has fastened the ability for most customers to create a budget to go into the cloud, because the capacity to scale can only come from the cloud. So as you get into your modernization journey and as you want to move your infrastructure, your applications, your workflow, your content into the cloud, you have to be making sure that you move the right things. And as I said, if you don't plan with the right set of tools, if you don't have the right set of software to do the modernization using all the processes, the technology, the infrastructure that you have, then you would end up double spending. And we see a trend that there is a larger budget for people to move. There is a justification that most customers have that we can move to the cloud or modernize most of the infrastructure a lot quicker. And that is going to help the end user and the end consumer get a lot more benefits from a user perspective.
Yeah, okay. Praveen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I really appreciate your input and your insights on that particular topic. It's a very important topic. to discuss. Naib Presiden Kanan dan Pengurus Besar Asia Pasifik dan Jepun bagi roket software. Kita membincangkan tentang bagaimanakah usaha untuk peralihan ke endemik ini, fasa peralihan ke endemik ini, dan bagaimanakah adaptasi digital yang berlaku di kalangan perniagaan pada ketika ini dan apa keperluan mereka, apa yang perlu mereka sedia dan juga tahap kesediaan mereka yang perlu dilakukan untuk memastikan daya saing mereka, tahap ketahanan dan untuk resurgence mereka semula terus ke tahap yang lebih tinggi dan sebagainya. Baik, sekian saja Niaga Awani untuk jam ini. Ikuti semua perkembangan terkini dan juga info terkini mengenai tenaga negara di fasa peralihan endemik di halaman Mikro Interaktif di Astro sekarang dan sekali maklumat lain dalam astroawani.com juga aplikasi Astro Awani. Terima kasih kerana menonton saluran berita paling dipercayai di Malaysia. Saya Najib Arif. Assalamualaikum dan salam hormat.